being aware in today's society, it means a lot. You know, like you have these double sides of this coin. You have the side of the coin where it's more spiritual than anyone thinks, and you have the other side where you borrow morals from other people who aren't necessarily aware. And when I say this, I mean it in the most humblest way possible, because I've noticed, as someone who is actually conscious and attentive to life in a spiritual aspect, I see people walk the earth, like the earth with me, and it's scary to see like how they're okay with allowing their souls to be doomed. They're okay with the decisions that they've made in their life. They're okay with life not actually being a video game, when in all reality, you can create whatever you want if you're aware enough, right? So sometimes being aware, it's a curse. The curse, it sucks because sometimes you'll see a situation. For example, I have a family member. I won't disclose his name, but my family member, he's in the age range of 40s to 50s, okay? And me being in my 20s, I'm sitting back looking at him and I'm thinking about like, yo, Unc, the decisions that you decide back when you, like the decisions that you decided to decide back when you were younger, they led to you being in this specific position that you're in, right? And so when you're aware of decisions and you're conscious of these type of things, now you start to make better decisions. At least that's what you would think someone would do. But even if you're aware and you're conscious, you can still make simple mistakes. Even me being aware, I make mistakes all the time. Now, the thing is, I take accountability and I'm aware enough to know how to pivot. I'm aware enough to understand that sometimes it's going to take me to make a specific decision and change. Sometimes it's going to take me to actually be like, okay, this is wrong because of this. This is wrong because I made a mistake. Let me change this and fix this. But my uncle, he's at a point in his life where he became programmed to the point where he isn't aware of the decisions that he's consciously making unconsciously. Don't let that go over your head. He is programmed to a specific degree where he's making decisions for his life consciously, but he's doing it unconsciously because he is not aware. Sometimes being aware is like a gift and a curse. Sometimes it's not always peaches and cream the way it seems. However, there's the other side of that coin where being aware, it's a beautiful thing. Being aware shows, hey, that person is intelligent. But sometimes there's another side of the awareness that shows, hey, that person may know too much for their own good. Because looking at my uncle, he had the facts. He had the information. He had the capability of making a set specific decision to change the trajectory of his life. But he didn't do it. So me personally looking at my uncle, I'm looking at it from the perspective of his awareness wasn't locked in on a specific set focus. Me personally, I'm focused on building generational wealth. I'm focused on unlocking an awareness of nothing but abundance and creating a flow of abundance, because that's the state of being that I want to like operate from. Looking at my uncle, he asks set like specific questions that lead to him down the path of receiving the specific answers and data that he receives. He takes conflict and he doesn't handle it well. Things that you would consider an aware adult of having down in the back, my uncle doesn't have that at all. And the reason why this is a problem is because my uncle is in his 40s to 50s. Me being in my 20s and me being aware, I'm seeing how my uncle, he's doomed. He's doomed to the point where all he knows is struggle. All he knows is do things in an illegal way. Now, the reason why this does not work is because it's a new day and age. We have AI. You have a variety of ways, an abundance of information. On top of that, we have the Bible. There are so many resources out here for us that it's literally our faults if we fail. It's our faults if we choose to do things the unrighteous way, the ungodly way. But it ties back to our awareness. Sometimes your awareness does one or two things. One, it'll allow you to actually create a specific order flow of nothing but abundance. You'll create an order flow of nothing but peace in your life. When you think about that abundant version of yourself, ask yourself this. What does that version look like? How aware is that version of myself? Because for you to actually be in a state of abundance, you have to be aware to a specific degree to actually be abundant and operate in that state, right? But the other side of that is this, and people do not like to talk about this at all for some reason. It's the side where sometimes when you're not aware or you are aware, you'll always decide to choose and decide to do the things that you know are going to keep you stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck, right? Broke like a joke and ready to choke. My family, they struggle with a lot of financial illiteracy. And I took pride in learning and becoming aware of this issue. And I took pride in knowing like, oh yeah, I won't be a victim to this. No matter what, I will not deal with this at all. And another thing that I noticed is this. That other side of the coin that creates that negative aspect of the awareness, it's all survival mode. My uncle only operates from that standpoint because he's not aware enough to the point where he does not believe wholeheartedly that the other side of the coin exists. See, me, I believe only in the first side of the coin of awareness where it's nothing but abundance. That's the state of being that I've unlocked in my awareness. My uncle, on the other hand, he struggles. And the reason he struggles is because the information that he has, on top of the resources that are provided to him, he struggles with it, right? So if he is okay with struggling the way that he's struggling, he says that he doesn't want to struggle. But he is not actively deciding a different awareness. Now, when you decide a different awareness, you unlock something different internally. You start to actually become a different version of yourself. And this version of yourself is on the first side of the spectrum of the awareness that is actually detrimental to your soul. Why? Because when you're operating from that state, you'll create abundance. When you're operating from that state, everything that you want will unfold in your eyes. But when you're operating from that other side of the coin, the other side of the awareness, it's coming from a survival mode. It's coming from a tactic where you don't actually wholeheartedly believe in the abundance that you say you believe in. And that's the case with my uncle. I love him to death. And I wish nothing but the best for him. I've talked to him. I've done everything that I can. But until my uncle actually decides to want better and he wants to really follow that first side of the awareness, nothing's going to change. Nothing in his life is going to change because nothing changes if nothing changes. If you want to create a new reality and a new life, you have to change your awareness. It all starts from within. And the awareness is the beginning of a new future.